Hi, my name is Dr. Stephen Simpson. I'm an elite performance coach and I work with elite performers. That means I work with people just like you. You're not in the wrong place. And I say that because I know that we're all capable of performing at a much higher level than we give ourselves credit for. And this is going to be one of the most important videos I make. So I'm going to need to perform at a pretty high level too to do the subject justice. And the subject is performance, because most of the people that I see, they want to know how can they perform at least to one level higher than they are at the moment. Well, that's usually pretty easy, but the enemy of the best is the good, and what I would encourage my clients to do is to aim very much higher for that. And this video is going to give you some clues as to just how you might do this. Performance anxiety, performing in front of people, in front of cameras, microphones, even just a couple of people can be very daunting, because we're social animals. We all share roughly the same genes, and we are a tribe. We're supposed to stay in the flock, and if we do something on our own, it exposes us to the views of others and the criticisms of others. And because the way our mind works, those are the kind of pictures we tend to have in our mind, rather than of us being on stage or with our friends doing a performance or something and being our best selves. So why is this, and what can we do about it? Well, you see, the problem is that we have something called an ego, and the ego controls the conscious mind. And controls is very much the right word. It's actually an understatement, because the ego is an over-controller. It believes that it's in charge of absolutely everything. It believes that it's the expert on absolutely everything. And you probably know a few people like that. And in fact, we're all a little bit like that. The trouble is that the controller is just about wrong on every single count. The controller has the arrogance to take the pure thoughts that surface from deep within our unconscious mind, and to mix them all up and embellish them and present them to the world as their own work. And in fact, actually what they've done is destroyed the truth and the purity of the message that the unconscious mind was trying to give. So the result is that the ego is very prejudiced, it is very narrow-minded, it is very critical, and actually it is just stupid. So anybody who's looking to raise their game by building their ego, I think you'd better have another think about that. Because fortunately for all of us, we have an unconscious mind, and it's called that because we don't really know that it's there. And we don't know that it's working 24/7, running millions of biological processes, mostly with perfect precision. Now, if the ego knew about this, it would start to try and interfere. Fortunately, it doesn't. So, as I said, if we're relying on ego, we're going to have a very lonely time on that stage. Our hands are going to be shaking, and we are not going to perform at anywhere the right level. And you'd be surprised how many of my clients fall into that category, one way or the other. But we have an invisible friend that is there for us 24/7. Now, the thing that I don't know is this invisible friend inside ourselves, or is it outside ourselves? So I give people an option. Everybody will have a clue. They'll say, oh, it's obviously inside. And another group of people will say, well, I don't know how you can say it's inside, it's obviously outside. So let me describe what I mean by that. The inside invisible friend, or the power that can propel us to a higher level, is a result, if it's true, is a result of millions of years of evolution. So in other words, it's hardwired, it's in our DNA. And a lot of this will be deep in our brain, in our reptile brain, which is called reptile for a good reason, because that's the oldest part of our brain and actually works the best under pressure. So there we are. If we can tap into that, into those millions of years of evolution, then we can perform pretty much as well as anybody else, as long as we have the basic skills that go with it. Now, the outside model is a bit more difficult to describe. And some people describe that as, well, Steve, you're not saying anything that I don't already know. What you're talking about is God. and I believe in God, and God is always there when I need it. Well, some people do believe that, and that helps them, which is wonderful. But some people don't, and so they will come up with a different model. They will say, well, this is the power of the universe that's getting behind me. It's the law of attraction kicking in. Or it could be invisible giants, or it could be angels, it could be my spirit guide. And as long as people believe in one of those things, I don't really care which one it is, because the truth is that they'll all work. Just like believing you've got a much more highly developed reptile brain from the inside model. Now, so what do you have to do to access this? Well, I could talk to you, and I've made a previous video not very long ago about performance anxiety, and I said all the standard things that are the bread and butter of the work I do with people. I talk about the importance of posture. Because if you can stand in a confident way, you're going to feel in a confident way, because you're tricking and encouraging your physiology to go there first. I talk about the way we speak. I talk about breathing techniques. I talk about meditation. And I talk about something that's called heart math. All of these things are very powerful ways to connect to either what's deep inside us or what's outside us, to feel that energy flowing through us. But at the end of the day, it's a little more difficult than that, because this is the most difficult thing you have to do. It requires a leap of faith. You just have to do it, as the advert goes. That means that when you're giving a presentation at work, you ditch the script. You don't have the script in your hand. And if possible, you don't have the usual PowerPoint presentation that drives everybody to sleep. You speak from your heart. And once you get into the habit of doing that, you'll be surprised. Now, if you were on your own, yes, you'd make a mess of it, but you're never on your own. That's the message of this video. You just have to believe that there's something out there that's going to help you, and it will. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should stand on the edge of a cliff and have faith, trust, and a belief of faith that the angels are going to catch you on the way down. I would say don't do that. Start with some little things first, where it doesn't really matter too much if you get it wrong. But the chances are that you won't. And from my experience and the people that I work with, when we do this, we start finding out we are way more capable of posting a personal best or a great performance than we ever were before. So stick with it. The ego, of course, will not like what you're doing, and so you'll hear lots of voices in your ear that will become increasingly strident. So do your best to block it out, because the default state for people is that they're going to go back to the comfort zone. Well, you've lived most of your life in the comfort zone, the chances are. So if you do that, the rest of your life is going to be pretty similar to how it is at the moment, which will be pretty good, I am sure, but it's nowhere near as good as it can be. So be strong, do it, and if it doesn't work the first time, do it again, and you will find the chances are that it's going to change your life. Certainly did with me. So I hope that's clear. You may have to think about this for a little while. It took me about at least 3 years to be able to put this into words. So I wish you luck, and I thank you for supporting the channel. Always welcome suggestions for other shows, other subjects you want me to cover, so fire them in. Please do look at my website, drstephensimpson.com. You'll see it in the show notes underneath this video if you're watching it on YouTube, because there's also a blog on this very same subject, and there's lots of other stuff, and all of it is free. So see you again soon. In the meantime, just see how much of a better person than you can than the star that you are already. Goodbye.